Number 8. Ooh, numbers are getting bigger. No GCF. 20. I have 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5. The good news is 5 is only 5 times 1, and I need a 48. So again, I'm going to start with the smaller number first, and then 5 and 1. Where can the 5 not go? It cannot go there. So if this works, it has to go that way. Let's see, that's 25, that's 4. 25 and 4. Is that somehow going to get you 48? Add or subtract? No. All right, so we know that doesn't work. So let's try the 2 and the 10. Where can the 5 not go? The 5 cannot go here because 10 and 5 have a common factor. They're both divisible by 5. So if this works, the 5 has to go there, 1 has to go here. Let's see. The middle is 50, the outside is 2. Hey, if the 50 is negative and the 2 is positive, I get negative 48x, which is the middle. So let's see. That would be my negative 50x, and if I made that positive, that's positive 2x. And just to double check, negative 5 times positive 1 is my negative 5. Am I convincing you yet about good choices and bad choices? Again, 6. We can choose 2 and 3 or 6 and 1. Now 55 does sound large, but the good news is that you don't have very many choices. 1 times 55, which sometimes works, but what about 5 times 11? And we need a 43. Well, I'm going to stick with my smaller numbers. They don't always work, but that's where I start. Okay, with the 5 and the 11, they can go in either spot. So I just choose. That's 15x, and the outside would be 22x. 15 and 22, that's either 37 if I add them. That's not going to be 43. So that didn't work. But what if we switch those? That would be 33x, and that would be 10x. What do I need in the middle? Negative 43. Well, if those are both negative, don't I get negative 43? So if I make them both negative, but a negative times a negative, is that positive 55? Yes, it is. That's my answer. And I know this looks sloppy, but you're trying, all right? This might not be the neatest, probably the neatest paper you've ever turned in. It's okay to scratch out. If you want to erase, that's fine, but I'd rather see all your scratch outs and try than just some perfectly neat paper. And again, if the 2 and the 3 didn't work out, then we go to the 6 and the 1. All right, let's look at number 10. Do I have a GCF? No, I do not. 12. Ooh, lots of choices. 3 and 4, 2 and 6, and 1 and 12. That's the bad news. The good news is 3, we only have one choice. So I'm going to start with the smaller number. And I know the 3 cannot go with the 3. So if it's going to work that way. That's 4x. That's 9x. Does that get you 20? No. So that means the 3 and the 4 doesn't work. So let's try the 2 and the 6. And again, where can the 3 not go? It can't go with the 6. So if it works, it's got to go this way. That's 18x. That's 2x. And if I add those, I get positive 20x. All of those are positives. That's my answer. 2x plus 3 times 6x plus 1. Number 11. Numbers are getting bigger. Is there a GCF? I sure hope so, because these numbers are really big. Well, what are they all divisible by? Well, they're even, so they're all divisible by 2. So let's divide everything by 2. That might make the numbers a little bit smaller. And we've already talked about how that x and y, how we deal with that. Well, those are a little bit smaller. So now we're looking at 8. So we have 8 and 1, or 4 and 2. 9 is 9 and 1, or 3 and 3, and we need a negative 22 in the middle. Don't leave out your 2. So again, I'm going to start with the smaller numbers. And the 3 can go either place. No common factors. So let's see. The middle is 6x. The outside is 12x. And we're not looking up here at 44 any longer because we factored out that 2. We're looking there. So we're looking for 22. Does that make 22? No. Okay. Well, does that mean we just give up on 4 and 2? Not yet. We've tried the 3 and the 3. What about 9 and 1? Let's see. We're trying to get 22. If I put 9 here, 9 times 2 is 18. That might be close. And what happens if I would have put the 9 here? Then 9 times 4 is 36. Probably not it. So let's move that 9 back here. 9 and 1. That's 18x. That's 4x. And if I make them both negative, I get negative 22x. And I'd say, oh, I'm done. But what did I forget? What did I forget? I forgot that y squared. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to put that y right there. That's my answer. So you could write that as 1y over here or just y. Don't leave out your GCF in your final answer. Number 12. No GCF. The good news, I only have choices for 3 and 1. 14 is either 2 and 7 or 1 and 14. And what do I need in the middle? That's a 1, a negative 1. So, oops, let's try the 3 and the 1, and I'm going to try the smaller, 2 and 7. Okay, if I put the 7 here, it's going to multiply times the 3. That'd be 21. That's kind of big. That's why I want you to start kind of looking and be able to do this before writing down all the choices. So how about let's put the 7 here. Remember, that's just 1x and the 2 here. So that's 7x. That's 6x. Ooh, if I make the 7 negative and the 6 positive, I'm going to get a negative x. But what do I need? Also that y. So really, when we multiply that out, that's how I get my negative xy. Does that work? Yes. If the 7 is negative and the 2 is positive, I get my negative 14y squared. I think everything works out. It's just a matter of playing with numbers and making some smart choices. Let's look at the last one. Ooh, that's ugly. Please tell me there's a GCF. What are all 3 of those divisible by? Not 2, because 45 is odd. What about 3? And what else do they have in common? Don't they all have a y? So let's divide everything by 3y. So I'm going to divide that by 3y, I get 8x squared minus 2x minus 15. Okay, this looks a little bit better, a little bit. Still need to see if I can factor more. So now look at 8, 4 and 2, or 8 and 1, 1 and 15, 3 and 5. And I need a negative 2 in the middle. So let's make sure we bring down our 3y. Again, I'm going to start with the smaller numbers. And then 3 and 5, can they go either place? I'm afraid so. No common factors. So if I put the 3 here and the 5 there, that's 6x. That's 20x. Can you add or subtract to get 2? No. So instead of scratching out, I'm just going to erase. Can I reverse those? That's 10x. That's 12x. What do I need in the middle? Negative 2. If I make the 12 negative, I would get negative 2x. So let's see, how did I get negative 12? I multiplied those together, so that needs to go minus. That needs to go plus. Positive 3 times negative, positive 5 times negative 3 is that positive 15. I haven't forgotten my GCF. Final answer. These just take practice, practice, practice. You're going to always look for that GCF. And then here's my biggest hint to you. You can never put a number in a parenthesis that has a common factor with the other number in the parenthesis. Meaning you can't put a 3 with a 3, a 6 with a 3, a 9 with a 3, a 5 with a 10, because all of those would have common factors.